Exactly as predicted, Bitcoin has seen a big move to the upside. We have conclusively managed to get above our prior resistance up here at $66,000, and this means huge things for the chart. I want to talk to you about setting all-time highs, the possibility of this coming crashing down, because there are still a lot of people that do not believe in what we're seeing right now, and everything in between. If you're excited for this one, do me a favor and smash up those likes as you are coming into this video. Double check that you're subscribed and you got the bell icon checked, because we are producing very time-sensitive content in this market. And we're not going to waste any more time here, because Bitcoin has moved up beautifully. We got that initial rejection at the $66,000 price zone, but we just came down to find support. I told you that we can actually find support down here in 63K, but we were way more bullish than that, and we actually found support down here just in the kind of 65s, right? So that was actually very good for Bitcoin here. This is a small support zone. You know, it's really not something that I would put too much weight on, but yeah, clearly there is some stuff kind of going on in this price zone here. You're getting rejections, you're getting really nice rejections, you're getting some support as well. So, you know, there is something to this price level, you know, and it's beautiful to see that we were able to get that pump. We're now stabilizing above that previous high, which is one of the best signs that we could be showing right now in this market, and I'm absolutely loving that. And I think that this could be an indication of what is to come next, because I think if Bitcoin can kind of really stabilize above this price level, if it can really prove to the market that this is Bitcoin's kind of true price level for now, then I think we're going to be in a really sweet spot as far as just making sure that we can move much higher, right? Because this zone, I was covering it with you guys in yesterday's video and live stream. This zone is very quick for Bitcoin a lot of the time. I mean, you can see when Bitcoin kind of got above this green box for the first time this year and then carried on higher, it was a super quick move up. It was a super quick move back down. Again, a very quick move up and a very quick move back down, right? When you're traveling in this range, things tend to happen very quickly. Look at this, all the way up in basically like 2 4-hour candles, and then all the way down within just a few days. Very quick price action all the way to the top and bottom of this price range. And so if we can conclusively get above this nice green box here, I think we can do the same thing, and I think that $71,000 is basically a done deal, save for other things like manipulation, which we're going to be talking about a little bit more throughout this video. But before we get there and before we continue talking about all-time highs and stuff like that, I do want to draw your attention over to Bitcoin's dominance. Once again, completely 100% factually correct on this YouTube channel. We don't do anything else differently. This is what you're seeing right here. Bitcoin dominance setting a brand new high. It's only very marginally higher than the previous high that Bitcoin's dominance set, but it continues to prove the same rule, the same trend that I've been describing on this YouTube channel for months and years, which is that I still fully believe that altcoins are going to be getting weaker against Bitcoin while Bitcoin steals that spotlight. And that's whether Bitcoin goes up or down. I just think that Bitcoin is going to continue to soak up all of the kind of money in this space from alts, and then naturally it tends to give that back to altcoins at a later date, usually in kind of late stages of the bull market. We're going to be talking more about that on this YouTube channel as we go on, but you should definitely make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss out on the content that I'm going to produce when that time comes, because we have slayed these markets during opportunities like that. And I fully intend on doing the same thing again. And while you are down there in the description, hitting up those likes and so on, check out Bybit. They're giving you $30,000 for free to trade with. All you've got to do is start trading using my link down below. It's the best exchange in the game, and Apex is their decentralized sister exchange. So you get full custody of your funds. You don't have to give your money to any exchange. It is one of the best ways to trade, in my opinion. Well worth checking out. And Blowfin is just a phenomenal alternative to all of that. If you're not a big fan of Bybit or whatever the case may be, Blowfin is a super flexible, high volume, non-white labeled exchange. I'm loving what they're doing, and if you want to check them out, again, you get thousands of, you get crazy bonuses actually here with Blowfin. Let me take a look at this. Let me show you this right here. We've got something very interesting over here, where they are offering you, you know, if you deposit 20K, you get $1,000 for free just to trade with. Like, there's nothing else you have to do. You just get money deposited into your account, and you can trade with that, and any profits you generate are yours to keep. So super, super cool. Check them out if you're interested. Back to the dominance chart here, though. Clearly gaining more power for Bitcoin, and we can see this reflected with Ethereum against Bitcoin, right? We've kind of established this new floor for Ethereum below all of our support levels, and it's really bad for Ethereum, in my opinion. If we lose this level, the next support is going to be significantly lower than here. We're talking about a further 17% drop, but this is after, within this current downtrend, I mean, you can't even fit the downtrend on the screen, god damn it, but within this current downtrend, Ethereum's already down by 55%, so moving down by another kind of 17 is quite a disaster for Ethereum, and Ethereum is actually one of the strongest coins in this market, so I think that really tells you something. We've got Cardano here just slipping below the lows that it's established. I mean, these altcoins are in a dangerous place right now. It's just broken a key low. This is, you know, pretty generic across the space. You're seeing this happen right now because Bitcoin's dominance is moving up. So altcoins continuing to be a very dangerous place to be right now in this market. I can only hope that those of you who've been subscribed and who've had that bell icon checked have been able to listen to all of my warnings throughout these months, you know, because I know that a lot of people have actually been able to protect themselves. We are obviously running this beautiful one-to-one program, which kind of replaced the VIP package that we used to run. And we've had phenomenal results with that, with people kind of protecting themselves from huge losses. I mean, you know, we're talking about if they hadn't paid the investment fee to get into this program, they would have lost 10 or 100 times more than the fee. And most clients that I've worked with are in that kind of camp. You know, and obviously lots of gains as well. So super, super exciting stuff. If you want to kind of get some information on that, all you've got to do is reach out to me directly on this link in the description. We can speak about that. It is a serious investment. It is a 12-week program. So, you know, no bullshit. Don't reach out to me if you're not kind of committed to working on yourself. But, you know, if you think that you can actually do something pretty impressive, and if you feel like you've got some serious capital that's worth protecting and growing, then definitely feel free to reach out. Yeah, but back to the chart here. Very, very nice price level here that Bitcoin has found itself in at the moment. I think that as long as we can kind of stabilize here, you know, even if we get a daily close here, ladies and gents, and by the way, at the time of me recording, we're only 4 hours away from that. Even if we get a daily close at this price level, it would be such a big deal, in my opinion, because it would represent stability at a resistance level, okay? And that's one of the best things you can do in order to kind of hint that you might break a resistance level. One of the best things you can do is just trade there stable and not even move, because that's telling you that, you know, you're at a resistance level. This is where rejections happen. This is where the prices tend to drop. But in reality, the market is not sending the price down. In reality, the bears are not able to drive the price down, right? That's what it tells us if we get this kind of stability at the top. And that's actually how you break key levels of resistance, right? I want to show you a really, really famous example of this. Bitcoin, you may have known, back in 2017, set this all-time high at $20,000. And, you know, just take a look at how we got rejected here, right? I mean, this is a really important key characteristic of these markets, which I think most people literally never even look at because they don't have a good education of how to trade or how to analyze. But don't worry, that's why you're here. You know, what I want you to really, really understand is a lot of the time when you're going to get a sharp reversal, or in other words, when you're going to get a big rejection, that rejection is usually going to happen very quickly. And the reason that's important, by the way, this works for support too. The reason that's important is because we can look at what happened at 20K, and it's immediately very obvious that this was a quick rejection where the price was just not able to hang around here. In other words, the price got up here and traders were like, nope, I'm selling my shit. I'm not staying in this market. I don't want to participate in this market. I'm closing, and I'm going to close a loss of my position. And that's why you see a really big drop, right? Look at this over here. We dropped down so much. We're talking about 20K all the way down to 6K. I mean, that is a, what is that? 70% drop, right? Sounds like a 70% drop. Let's go ahead and check that. Yeah, it's a 70% drop. And so this is where a lot of buying power comes in. It's like, nope, we're not letting the price go lower. A lot of people are jumping in, right? So these are what I would call very harsh rejections, or in this case, a very strong bounce. And what's very different, right, is if we kind of play this forward all the way to 2020, this is the next time that we hit the 20K zone, right? The first time that we ever hit $20,000 was back here in 2017 December. The next time was here in kind of November, December 2020. And the reason this is such a big deal is, well, I mean, look at it. The first time, very sharp, instant rejection, kiss it goodbye, you ain't coming back. The second time, look at what happened here, ladies and gents. And, I don't want to, we've already kind of spoiled the story here, but, I don't want you to kind of get ahead. Look at what happened here. I mean, we get the initial rejection. It's nowhere near what we saw before. I mean, we're talking about, a 16% drop in 2 days compared to back here. I mean, what happened? Look at this. Within just like 3-4 days, 5 days, you're down by 43%. I mean, it's a different scale altogether, right? I mean, from the point that we kind of hit the real 20K level, 9 days later, you're only down by 11%. It's a completely different scale. We're not getting anywhere near the same kind of rejection that we had previously on this chart. And I think that's actually what enables Bitcoin to then kind of rally up, because what happens when you start trading sideways, and again, we're all about the mechanics of these markets, right? Well, I want you to understand a hell of a lot more than Sammy says up or down, is I want you to understand how this stuff works, because you're never going to need me afterwards. Very bad for business, actually. My team would not like me saying this because it means we make less money. But you're never going to need me if you understand this shit at a very, very deep level. And that's what we're here to do, okay? We want everybody to be very, very self-sufficient, super safe traders. And what you need to understand about these price levels is that when you start trading sideways at a certain price level, at a resistance level like 20K, or in our case, like 66K, then what actually happens is anybody that wants to sell is given an opportunity to sell. Okay, and let's say, there isn't an unlimited number of Bitcoins that want to be sold, right? There's actually a finite number of Bitcoins that want to be sold. There is a limited number of Bitcoins that want to be sold. And if you're trading sideways at that resistance level, you can chop away at all of that supply. You can break away all of that supply, let all of those people sell what they want to sell slowly at the price level that they're happy to sell at. And then when there's no more supply left in the market, or in other words, when there's no more Bitcoins left that want to be sold, then the only thing you're left with is all of that residual demand that drove you up in the first place. The only thing you're left with is all of that demand that got you here in the first place, because you got no more supply. And of course, that's how you get the big breakouts. And mind you, they are big breakouts, because we're also talking about price suppression over here. So, there's a lot of kind of pent-up pressure that wants to release at that point as well. And so if we bring it back to the current day for this chart, it looks like this could be a situation where we can pull off something similar to that right now. So the only thing we have to do is hold this price level, and as long as we do that, I think we're going to be in a pretty good place. Now, I have a lot more that I want to cover with you. I want to talk to you about traditional finance, a little bit more about altcoins, and some tweets that I've got for you. So there's a lot more to get through in this video, but I am going to come back to this because I want to talk to you a bit about Bitcoin's kind of worst case scenario, because there are some things that could go wrong for Bitcoin here, and we need to detail that. But before we do, let's go ahead and take a look at some general kind of sentiment here. We're starting to get some real excitement for altcoins again. We're looking at, I believe this is going to be like the altcoin market cap, and we're looking at some very, very exciting chart patterns here. Does this mean that we're going to move up now or soon? I don't think so. I don't think that's coming anytime soon. I've been very vocal about all of that. But this is still a very good sign. We're still painting really, really nice chart patterns, so I'm loving the look of this. If we go ahead and take a look at this tweet right here, is this the moment we've been waiting for years? Bitcoin is about to break the 7-month downtrend. Clearly, we've been waiting for 7 months, not for years. This is the most bullish signal you can get, to be honest. And obviously, I completely agree with this analysis. This is the #1 thing that we've been talking about before this chart pattern was even, trendy. Before it was even a thing that everybody was talking about. We were looking at this literally many months ago. So smash up the likes for that. Always steps ahead of the game. That's how you make money in these markets, and that's why you're here. So if you do appreciate that, do me a favor and show this channel a little bit of love. I'm dealing with a really shit algorithm right now, guys. I don't know why it's happening, but any love you throw this way helps a lot. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you in advance. But right here, Titan of crypto, altcoin rebound. We got a lot of people really hoping for that altcoin season, and you got some signs that this could come. This could be coming. Look, my stance remains the same. I think it's honestly at this point, I think it's very silly to still be kind of banging the drum of altcoins right now. It's so dangerous. It's so clearly not working. And I don't see any sign that this is going to change. You know, I think that if anything, if Bitcoin really does start pumping quite high, I don't expect any excitement to go to the altcoins, or at least I don't expect it to be anywhere near as profitable as Bitcoin. And certainly when you consider the safety that you're losing when you go into altcoins versus Bitcoin, that, you know, that has to be worth it. If you're losing safety, you have to be making a lot more money to justify that. But altcoins have not been in that position for multiple years, and I don't think they're going to get there for at least another few months at minimum. And so, you know, I still think that this kind of sentiment is just downright dangerous. But you know, we got a functioning market. A lot of people are going to disagree with me. Guess what? A lot of people that disagree with me in the past, they've made money too, right? I've been wrong about things in the past, so I can obviously be wrong about something again in the future. We've also got Crypto here, just getting super excited. We know his style. We absolutely love it. Bitcoin pumping 2.5 grand, dumping 3 grand just within minutes. Typical Bitcoin stuff. If we do zoom in and take a look at what happened, this was a very obvious liquidity grab where Bitcoin spiked above the resistance, came back down below support. Basically what happened here is that if you were trading a short position at this point, then you would have been stopped out. And if you entered a long up here because this looked exciting, you would have been stopped out. And then the end result is that everybody loses money. Very, very typical price action for Bitcoin. This is why trading needs to be done very, very safely. And that's why, you know, using tools like what I've described over here can be very, very dangerous, and we're always very mindful of those risks. It's super cool, super useful if you know how to use this stuff safely, but if you don't use it safely, you're going to have big problems. So check it out if you feel like you're ready for it, if you feel like it's safe for you, and if you want to take advantage of all of those huge bonuses. Because again, bottom line, if you do just start trading and you get the free money, you can trade with the free money, you can make any profits you generate with it, withdraw the profits, and then fuck right off. You don't have to keep your money on the exchange, right? So that's really cool. And it is just, you know, free extra capital. It helps you kind of jump ahead, you know, and it's basically a nice shortcut. So that's worth checking out. But always be mindful of your country's local laws and regulations before you do anything with an exchange, because that is always very important to be a law-abiding citizen. But if we bring it back to the chart here, you know, nice big liquidity test. Well, look, it's worrying in and of itself, but the fact that we kind of, the next thing we did is just kind of moved up anyway, that tells me that this is a pretty good kind of situation in the market. And so I'm going to kind of basically just say now, look, if we lose this green line right here, basically the bottom of my box, which represents the 66.5K level, if we lose 66,500, then, you know, we've kind of got support back where we were, you know, finding support earlier at about 65. I'm not going to be super optimistic about that, so I'm still kind of keeping my eyes on this $63,000 level. It doesn't make sense to me that we have super shallow retracements. This market has been very volatile recently. I don't expect that to change, and so I do think that if we do lose this current price level that we're at, this kind of bottom of this box right here at 66.5, if we do lose this particular price level, then I do think we are coming, you know, a couple $1,000s lower. Nothing crazy. It might scare people, but that's completely fine. And speaking of scaring people, fear and greed index now at 65, so really no fear left in this market. We're actually back in greed now. So is this an opportunity for sentiment to kind of reset? Maybe we get a nice big drop now, scare people back out of the market. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say so. I don't think that's necessarily what we're looking at. But, you know, again, different people are going to have different opinions. I still think this is fine. I'm not worried about it, but I am keeping an eye on it, because if it does jump up aggressively again, then, you know, we're just going to be getting a little bit too overexcited again. So you don't want to see that happening either. So beautiful stuff so far. I think that if we lose this level, we could be in a little bit of trouble. But speaking of all of that, we do now obviously have some support developing beneath us on the 4-hour time frame. We've got an Ichimoku cloud, which is actually, it's looking like this Ichimoku cloud is going to be a pretty big cloud. And the really nice thing about it is that it's not far away. It's only 4 days away. So basically, in the next kind of 4 to 7 days, let's say, if Bitcoin kind of drops down, it's going to have a really nice cushion of support ready for it, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. If we take a look at the EMA ribbon on this time frame, big support here developing on the EMA ribbon. I don't know why I can't load the rest of the EMA ribbons here, but you can get an idea of where the EMAs are. On the daily time frame, we're starting to really establish a trend as well, and the daily EMA support lines up beautifully with 63K. So I think a lot of attention is going to be on 63K right now. If Bitcoin holds that level, if it falls down there, I do think it will hold that level. I think if Bitcoin doesn't hold 63K, then, you know, this is pretty bad. We've swept the high, and then we're just kind of falling down, so that's not going to be great. Look, as far as I'm concerned, we can still get down to 58 and we're fine. I've said this for a long time and I still believe that to be the case. But yes, obviously, it would be looking a lot worse if we did end up kind of getting down there. And then as far as kind of breaking resistance levels go, it's like I said, if we can get above this resistance level, 71, could literally happen the same day or within a few days, easily this week. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. It's only Tuesday. And then, you know, I think all-time highs are just, you know, a stone's throw away from there. It's going to be basically a done deal. I would be incredibly surprised if Bitcoin shoots up toward the top of this price range, which, by the way, of course, we've been in for 7 months. I'd be very surprised if Bitcoin shoots to the top of it, but doesn't set a new all-time high. That would be very strange because it would mean that Bitcoin has enough strength to recover from literally, you know, the $49,000 price level all the way down here. It means Bitcoin has the strength to recover from such a low price level to shoot back up, set higher lows, break resistance levels, get all the way to the top of the range, but somehow it's not strong enough for that final 2-centimeter push up to the all-time high. I don't see it happening. I think that we're looking pretty damn sweet right now. And so, yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing right here, ladies and gents. It is a good situation in the market. Let's take a quick look at traditional finance, and we're getting, you know, some really, really nice price action here on the S&P 500. We set a brand new all-time high yesterday, and today we're seeing a nice, steady, slow drop down. Very much in line with continuing this uptrend as far as I'm concerned. I think that this can drop down to any of these kind of bounce zones and then just continue on higher, and not concerned whatsoever about what I'm seeing with the S&P 500 so far. It is still very clearly an all-time high territory, and any retracements are very welcome at this stage. The dollar is sideways, picking up a little bit. It did dip down just yesterday, but only very, very briefly. In fact, yeah, it looks like that was completely recovered by the end of the day, and the dollar is still looking okay. I think it's approaching resistance levels. It could retrace at any point, but right now it's still pointing upward, and none of that stuff seems to matter for Bitcoin. So you know what? I'm going to take it. It looks like we are losing that inverse correlation between Bitcoin and the dollar, at least for now. I definitely think that that inverse correlation is going to return, but it's been clear, we've been talking about it on this YouTube channel, that that inverse correlation has definitely weakened as of these last few weeks and months. So we're going to keep an eye on that to see, pardon me, to see how that goes. But, you know, it's neutral at worst, I think, for Bitcoin, what I'm seeing in traditional finance right now. At worst, it's neutral, and at best, it's looking really, really good. So good stuff here in the market, ladies and gents. I'm loving what I'm seeing. I hope you are too. If you've enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Shout out to those of you that are subscribed, smashing up those likes. I really do appreciate it. And if you want to check out those bonuses, then check them all out. Always check your country's local laws and regulations. And if you want to get inside of our very, very exclusive program, the 12-week program that I mentioned, you can reach out to me directly using this link down below. Anything else, any other questions, whatever you guys have, drop a comment. I always read those comments, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.